Twitter's community notes writers are the planet's biggest dorks. Twitter's community notes used to have a simple, if slightly dull purpose. Now, they're just hall monitors on a power trip. Madam, please, shut your filthy, dirty, slimy, lying cocksleeve for your own good. Because the last 10 years plus have been nothing but vehement, aggressive moral policing. It has been nothing but virtue signaling. It has been nothing but repeated assaults upon everyone's freedoms, repeated censorship, mass limitations on freedom of speech and expression. And at the vanguard of all of this has been the progressive far left class. And every single solitary inch of it, you have been there, pushing and begging for yet further restrictions. And now that the boot is apparently on the other foot, where your lies are being challenged by the audience you have gaslit for so many years, now they're hall monitors on a power trip. Oh, please. I mean, hell, even the site itself has countless examples of this. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodhounds had problems with racism. Oh yes, its representation of blacks, Latinos, and Asians didn't live up to the desires of the gamer. The fancy race symbols get affect me more than I thought it would. The reaction to the racism in Spider-Man load shows how selfish we are. Devil May Cry patch removes PC sinful censorship, you perverts. And on. And on. And what is the reason? There is no reason. Ashley's underwear in Resident Evil is not censorship. Oh no, you silly bastards, you filthy degenerates. How dare you wish to look at hot, attractive females? And even if you did, well, it's not censorship, you see. Why? Well, it's because it's a remake. It's not censorship because we changed it in the remake, and the remake's a totally separate game, you see. Therefore, it's all fine. You are the problem. Not to mention, okay, The Gamer is perhaps the single most misleading name of any publication in human history, as of course the first paragraph puts paid to the lie yet again. The internet is full of little dweebs who nobody really likes, but who collectively make our lives easier. What? Fucking Gamer would say, like, okay, I know, and that is a very, very, very fitting name, incidentally. I get it. You probably have no idea what gaming is. You probably got into this as a job. You probably haven't the foggiest effing clue. Because, let me let you in a little bit on secret here. Gaming wasn't always popular. It's only been in the last decade or so where fake anti-fans like yourself swarmed into this that it became, quote, popular to be a gamer. The rest of us, well, we are the dweebs, we are the nerds, the geeks, we are the people who played video games when it wasn't popular. We've all seen our favourite subreddit dissolve our way into unrelated memes and harassment when unmoderated. When freedom isn't continuously crushed, we will have, memes, apparently. Unrelated memes, too. Still, nobody likes red mods, and we want people to feel safe and comfortable patches like Discord. We also know Discord mods are prone to power trips, well, mostly due to the incredibly arbitrary and draconian rules of Discord, frankly. See, this is not really a problem. This wasn't an issue back in the day. It simply wasn't. My God, the good old days. I am old enough to remember a time when in competitive multiplayer games, if one of your team disconnected, somebody on the other team would volunteer to disconnect themselves to make it fair. The moderation issue is so overblown, it is primarily a problem of people like this coming in and ruining everything. Straight up, honestly, I am an old geezer at this point, and shit was better before you. And hopefully it'll be better after you. After the hobby is no longer popular. Oh God, how I long for those days. Anywho, It goes on at length complaining about the community notes, stating that originally it was supposed to be for politicians only, you see, keeping the politicians honest. But then Elon Musk took over. Things working was no longer a concern, which is somewhat ironic, seeing as, the site is still working and has more features now than ever, despite its staff being cut down to like a third or so, but details. And community notes, well, now it's just used to dunking on people. Now it's just used to dunking on my side. What is this? I'm accustomed to being privileged at every turn, and now I'm being attacked for lying? Gasparoni, indeed. Because here's the thing. Community notes, working as intended. Hell, working better than intended, in fact. Because community notes appear to literally just be the community notes. It is an excellent example of the good old days of, self-policing, when communities took care of their own, shall we say. It calls out a lot of left-wing lies, overt, strident, aggressive lies, and with obvious agendas as well. This is what conservatives did to a target store who put up gay pride display. Still think right-wing extremism isn't a real problem? Yes, right-wing extremism is the issue. We need to rescind even further freedoms. Community notes. This was posted in May 28th, Jesus, in 2020, covering looting of Minneapolis Target after George Floyd's death. Yes. Oh, of course. The conservative riots after George Floyd's death. Naturally. A conservative just went into Target and set fire to all the Bud Lights in the middle of the aisle. This has to stop. The evil conservatives are at it again. Oh wait, this photo is from a 4-year-old Reddit post which claims the fire was started in a toilet paper aisle. This has been 2 years since the remains of 215 children were discovered in unmarked graves in the Kamloops Indian Residential School. Ah yes, the Great Canadian Thing, where the Canadians were just exterminating Native Americans left, right and centre. Except again, no remains have been found at the Kyrie site. Weird, but 215 soil disturbances were found. Are you saying somebody went in there to dig? That's weird indeed. And again, here's the beauty of it. The community notes, unironically, are literally just regular people. This isn't just dunking on people, as the Game and article goes. It's just dunking on people. It's terrible. We can't have it. It needs to be just politicians. Just politicians. My lies need to go unchallenged, because this is just normal people of every stripe, of every political persuasion. For example, a Republican. I am an alpha, liberals fear me. Well, it turns out this was a slightly altered representation of the person in question, which later turned into a little bit of a meme. And hey, as a fellow rosy-cheeked individual, I get the temptation, but still. You even have them correcting the fact-checkers themselves, in fact. Remember that? The constant demands for fact-checkers in everything. Oh, misinformation is rampant. Disinformation. That damn Trumpalophagus is lying on the internet again. We need to crack down on this. Well, that tool was also used in only one way. Well, this person didn't... No, she wanted to open the schools. She wasn't a bad person. She was a totally nice person, you see. During the early COVID-19 pandemic, American Federation of Teachers President Randy Weingarten advocated for schools to reopen for in-person learning, providing the use safety precautions. Those damned Republicans are just lying again. Oh, what's that? PolitiFact is misrepresenting Weingarten's position. She called attempts to reopen schools in the fall of 2020 reckless, callous, and cruel. It is holding people responsible for what they say, simple. And again, regardless, even if you're a Christian, guess what? They will hold you responsible as well. God has never made a single drop of alcohol. The earth has never produced a single drop of alcohol. 100% of all wine and alcohol is manufactured by fallen men. Community notes. Jesus turned water into wine, source the Bible. Literally. This is working better than anyone could ever have anticipated, frankly. It defends Elon Musk on occasions, just like it attacks him on others. When Elon said, for example, that Twitter was responsible for, 60% of all internet traffic or something insane, they responded with no, actually, that's Facebook. Unironically, And sometimes it's just funny. Cigarettes are bad for you. Source, the FDA. Cigarettes are bad for you. Source, the FDA. Straight up, the community notes are fantastic. They are not simply small dweebs who've always wanted to be in charge of things just kinda because. It is community policing. It is the great thumping hive mind of the internet looking at everyone with the prism of perfect neutrality. Because you have so many people, there can be no bias. Literally, the numbers are so large, somebody is going to pick up on something wrong. See, that's again the beauty of it. Let's say you're a Democrat, a rabid Democrat, and you see a Republican lying. Well, you're gonna go, hammer, hammer, hammer keyboard. This is why he's lying. There you go. Fantastic. He's been called out on his bullshit. On the other end of the aisle, the Republican fan goes like, well, this is a Democrat lying. I'm gonna hit his boat with as well. Beautiful. Ideal. If literally everyone gets continuously called out for openly lying on the internet, I imagine the internet would be a significantly better place. In fact, love him or hate him, all Elon has at least managed to do this right. The community notes are the best thing to happen to Twitter since Twitter's creation, frankly. And again, they're complaining here too. Presley met his wife when he was 24 and she was 14. The community note stated that they were entirely platonic until Priscilla turned 18. Sure they were. They ran off together and tried to move in together when she was 17, but they were just best buds, right? Well, honey, that's your headcanon. Is it true? Were they perfectly platonic? I don't know. I don't know enough about it. Do you know enough about it? In which case, count the community note, I guess. You're allowed to do that. You can join the community notes team. But unless you have some way of disproving that, and the community notes require sources, mind you, well, I guess this is your headcanon being counteracted. And that is the beauty of it as well. If anything can shatter echo chambers, it is being confronted with the facts of the matter. That is always the best case. It's happened to me myself on multiple occasions where I've had pre-assumed notions. I figured I knew a thing. Because I hadn't really looked into it, I hadn't bothered it was not something I cared about, and then I was showed, it isn't actually that way. It's like, well, shit. I would never have been able to actually realize that unless I'd been shown it, because it simply wasn't something I dedicated a great deal of brain power to, frankly. But that is the sign, of course, of, well, a lot of the fail in the education system, isn't it? You should be able to critically approach all of your own beliefs and able to investigate them and see whether or not there's something there, whether you're correct or whether somebody else is actually right. This is something that certain people have long since lost the ability to do and will then simply just lash out against the group that, well, isn't them. Little dweebs, says the gamer. You know, maybe the authoritarians have a point. Maybe more rules is a good thing. Maybe more fact-checking is a good thing. Maybe, for example, we should force certain sites to change their names if they are obvious lies. Just a thought. God bless the community notes, and until next time, I've been Arch. Thank you all very much for watching, fellow dweebs, geeks, and nerds. Gamers, if you will. Have a good day.